welcome back to the channel. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a wedding photographer based in the Adirondacks, and I'm here to help you with all things wedding. Today, we're talking about wedding speeches. I've seen some of the most horrible toasts that people were just all looking around waiting for it to end, and some of the most heartfelt moments that had the whole room just in tears. We want to make people cry because of how heartfelt and sweet your speech is, and not because it's so terrible that they just want to eat dinner. All right, so here we go. The first tip, and I alluded to this in my introduction, is don't start the speech with "for those of you who don't know me." I can't even tell you how many weddings I've been to that have started the speech that way. I know the hardest parts of a speech are the beginning and the end, right? It's easy to talk about the couple, it's easy to share stories, and a lot of times people struggle with how to start and how to end. So when you start, make it brief, introduce yourself and your relation to the couple, and instead of starting with "for those of you who don't know me," you can say something like, "My name is such and such, my relation to the bride, groom is this, and I'm honored to be standing with them today." Much better, more formal, just less overused way to introduce yourself. Then go right into the body or the biggest part of the speech. Oh, and back up for a second. Before you even start to make your speech, I beg you on behalf of photographers, videographers everywhere, please stand next to the couple as you give your speech. Make sure that you're close enough to them that they can actually capture those moments, the interactions, your couple laughing as you tell the speech, you sharing the speech, instead of it just being photos of somebody standing up at some part of the room. Please stand next to the couple as you give the speech. You're primarily speaking to them and then to the audience of everybody else in the reception. So you want to make sure that you're close enough to them to really have that personal engagement with them and have those photos be of all of you together as you're giving the speech. I know you're gonna be nervous, the DJ's gonna hand you the microphone and you're just anxious to get started wherever you're standing, but please take that time to set yourself up next to the couple, standing with them. It just adds so much, and it's just gonna enhance the memories afterwards as well. So after you've introduced yourself, the first and biggest piece of advice I can give you is to remind you that it is not about you. We're here to celebrate the couple, their love, and their love story. While you want to incorporate your relationship with the person that you are there standing up to represent, you still want to remind yourself not to make too much of the speech just simply about you. I've seen it happen way too many times where someone giving a toast starts to make it a little bit too much about them and then either neglects the other person that they're marrying, the person that they're not as close with. For example, if it's a parent or maybe a maid of honor, they're giving the speech and they're talking about the bride or they're talking about their son or daughter. Remember to equally address the other person that they're marrying, because this celebration is about this love story of these two people coming together. And so remember to address both of them, remember to incorporate both of them, and that as you incorporate your relationship with the person, reminisce about your memories with them, just remember not to spend too long before talking about the two of them and their connection as well. So a good rule of thumb for how to have a successful speech that equally addresses everyone is that a third of the speech you can start by talking about your relationship to the person that you're there to give the toast for. If you're a maid of honor, a third of it can be about your relationship to the bride, reminiscing those stories together. Then the second third of it should be about the relationship of the couple together, their love story, and incorporating any memories or just addressing their relationship and encouraging them. The last third of it, you should remember to address that other person. So if you're a maid of honor, you've addressed the bride, you've addressed their love story, maybe a story about the proposal or the first date they went on, or just encouragement for the future about the two of them. Then the last third of it, you can also share about how that other person has impacted the person that you're there to give the toast for. If you don't have a lot of memories with, say, the groom or the bride, then make sure that you share about the impact that that person has had on the person that you know better. That way you're still making sure to address them, give them the attention that they deserve as it's their wedding too, but it allows you more space if you don't really have as strong a relationship with the other person. As you wrap up your speech, I want to remind you that you want it to be 5 minutes tops. If you're planning to speak longer than that, you should definitely check with the couple beforehand, because a lot of times these wedding timelines run on a very strict schedule, especially if dinner has to be served and people are hungry, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you're checking with them about the amount of time that the speech will be. And remember that when you write your speech out ahead of time and you maybe practice it by yourself, read it out loud, I want you to just time yourself so that you actually get an idea of how long you're speaking. Remember, it's better to keep it short and sweet than long and drawn out, okay? So I remember I took public speaking in college, and I would have speeches that I thought were gonna be about 5 minutes, and then when I actually practiced them, it was like 10 to 15 minutes. And so you need to make sure that you're rehearsing the speech as you go so that you actually have an idea of how long it's gonna be, and know that if you need to cut down, you can cut it down a little bit. Especially if you're supposed to be giving it as a toast with a lot of other people in succession after you giving toasts, you wanna just keep it sweet, short, concise, and beautiful. One tip that I wish I knew sooner for public speaking is, especially if you're feeling all the nerves, if you're super nervous and anxious about to give the speech or even during the speech, I encourage you, concentrate your muscles into one area of your body. For me, I usually curl my toes really tight and just squeeze. So it's scientifically proven that in order to calm your nervous system, you can clench all your muscles at once, hold it for a little bit, and then release it, because you're naturally going to be tensed up. So if you actually force your body to tense, then when you release it, you're actually going to be calming yourself a little bit. So I highly encourage you to plant your feet, squeeze your muscles if you have to, take a few deep breaths, and you're going to give a beautiful speech. If you are concerned about it or nervous, it just shows how much you care about the couple and want it to be beautiful for them. And so you're gonna do a great job. I just encourage you to give yourself what you need before then. Don't have too many drinks before the speech. I know everybody says it'll give you some liquid courage, but a little too much is just gonna make it all the more difficult for you. So hang in there, you're gonna do an amazing job. One thing I'm begging you not to do as you prepare your wedding speech or toast is, please don't use ChatGPT to write the speech. Yes, you may receive some kind of polished idea or some cliches, but no one wants that. They want a genuine relationship. They want it to be your tone, your voice, your memories, and that's something that someone else can't write for you. So don't worry about making it perfect, but make it genuine. It makes such a difference. I promise you, we can tell when it is. Also, remember that as you're giving this speech, you're gonna be in a lot of mixed company. There's gonna be grandparents there and friends from college. And so you wanna make sure that the things you share about in your speech, the stories that you share, are going to be appropriate for the whole audience. If there's any stories that you think might be questionable, I would run it by the couple first to make sure that they're comfortable with you sharing that story. There may be some stories that you thought were hilarious from back in college or partying or whatever, but maybe the couple doesn't want that shared in front of their really strict grandmother, okay? So just make sure you check with them first. A few other things that are off limits: don't incorporate any stories about ex-partners for the couple, anything that's going to make them look bad. We don't want to encourage anything like that during the speech. So really be careful, because you're not just trying to write a comedy routine. You are representing the couple that's getting married, and you want to make sure that anything that you share is something that they would want all the guests that are gonna be there to hear. Everyone wants to write a great speech and everyone wants to be hilarious, but never sacrifice your couple's comfort just for the sake of comedy. Always err on the side of keeping it classy and checking with your couple before sharing anything that might be over the edge. If you have any questions about giving a wedding toast, please let me know in the comments. I will be reading and responding. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more wedding tips. I hope this video was helpful for you. Just know that I'm rooting for you. You're gonna do an amazing job.